Good evening, everybody, at Las Colinas Toastmasters Club. Are you all ready to learn some of the best kept secrets of a table topic speech? Yeah, thumbs up. Okay, for all the guests over here who don't know what table topic is a 1 to 2 minute speech that we give at Toastmasters. A topic is given to you, a question is hurled towards you, and you are taken by surprise, and you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. We will be speaking extemporaneously, ad-lib, impromptu speaking. That's what is table topics. Now, what is at the root of table topics? What is it really? Isn't it a short speech? Isn't it? And what is the ingredient of any speech? Doesn't it? We learned about it in our icebreaker speech. It has to have an opening, it has to have a body, and it has to have a conclusion. And another thing that we often miss is it also has a purpose, right? I'll just put my gallery view on. Okay. So now, when we come to purpose of a speech, we usually persuading somebody to do something. We give a call for action. We give a message. We ask them questions. I think that is common with table topic as well. Now, before I go to all of the intricacies, I want to ask you a question. The people who are not comfortable with table topics as a Toastmaster, what is it that intimidates you? What is it that gets you, fuzzy and clouded about table topics? I'd like to take some questions so that I can address as I go along. Yes, Sephora.
Yesterday it was the area table topic contest, and I won second place. After my presentation, I realized what scares speakers most during table topics is not having enough time to think about the question.
Okay. Any other questions? What is it? Yes, Donna.
I think what scares me is I don't have an answer. It's a topic that I know nothing about.
Okay, a topic that's completely new to you. All right. Anybody else? Yes, Salil.
I'm unable to structure my answer.
Okay. Anything else?
I would say sometimes you have conflicting ideas coming to your mind, and with 2 minutes, having the time to really decide which way we're going, it's really challenging.
Right. Kaniz, what about you?
I think it's similar to what what Donna said. It's really the fear of not being very knowledgeable about what it is you're being asked.
Okay. Stir, what about you?
Sometimes I have stage fright. Just the fear of just having so many people looking at you, and you're focusing more on how you're presenting yourself instead of trying to answer the question.
Thank you. Thank you so much for those questions. I'll address them as I proceed. The first thing that I want to address is the mindset. The biggest elephant that comes our way when we attempt table topics is our minds. Our biggest enemy is right there in our heads. Like Stir said, I get conscious, I get stage fright. So I would all encourage you, whenever there's a table topic session in a club and the table topics master asks any volunteers, just be ready. I know it's uncomfortable, right? But you have to keep on practicing yourself to raise that hand, to make yourself uncomfortable, face that fear. Because unless you face that fear, you cannot get rid of it. Because there will be that voice which keeps telling, okay, this is not for me. People are going to judge me. What if I don't have the answers? That's what we have to get over. So that voice, ignore. Keeps coming, ignore. That's what you have to do. And the second thing is about the fear of judgment about ourselves. I had a session with my coach. I used to have a habit of starting a speech, and somewhere in the middle, I would just stop all of a sudden. And then I would say, oh, it's not going anywhere. I just need to go. And then he said, you're judging yourself in the middle of a speech. So in the middle of the speech, maybe you're going somewhere, but you don't feel like it's headed somewhere. You should just keep going and just have faith that you're going to land up with some answers to that topic. Once you do that on a continuous basis, that fear of judgment reduces. I mean, it's going to be there, but it's going to reduce. So in the middle of a speech, stop judging yourself and just keep rolling. And when that voice tells you, let's just move away from the stage. Enough done, enough said, let's move. You need to ignore that voice. Now, in a contest, I think this would be of specific interest to Sephora. I don't know if any of you have contested in table topics contest. When the contest is happening in the waiting room, my heart just starts pounding. Like it goes to 120, maybe 140. I can just literally listen to my beats. I don't know how you feel, but many of you might experience the same thing. Some of you might even experience a dry mouth. So just keep a glass of water in handy. Sip a little bit of water just before you get a topic. It helps. Take a few deep breaths if you can find the time. Relax, concentrate on the breath. So this is about the mindset. If you persist, you can conquer it. If you give up, fear will conquer you. So that is one of the biggest things that you have to, continuously face as a table topic speaker. Now, coming on to, like I said, purpose and all of that, right? You must be thinking, okay, forget purpose, Deepa. I don't even know how to begin. How do I start a speech? I just feel I'm lost. So to get started off, in most Toastmasters workshop that I've attended, they've suggested these templates of thinking. I'm just going to cover some of the popular ones, and it's called the templates of thinking. I named them templates of thinking. It helps to get started, gets you a structure. I think somebody was talking about structure. Maybe to begin with, you can start using these templates of thinking, which can come in handy. The first one is the prep technique. It's also called OREO. Let me expand this and show you what it means. PREP stands for point, P for point, R for reason, E for example, and P for point. So point is nothing but your table topic. Let's say the topic is black is the most beautiful color in the world. And I give it to, the topic is given to you. So how do you start? I would advise take a little bit of time, maybe 15 seconds to think about it. Feed the mind the question, let it start thinking, and then start off. So first make the point, whether you just have to, whether you agree, you have to decide whether you agree with the topic or whether you don't agree with the topic. So is it a yes or a no? I'm going to say yes now. I'm going to say, yes, Toastmasters and guests, I believe that black is the most beautiful color in the world. Think about that blue car, gleaming blue car in the traffic. Doesn't it outshine the rest of the cars in the street? And right now, I'm wearing a black eyeliner. I know it's 4 a.m., but I'm wearing a black eyeliner. And I marvel at the way black is so understated, yet it allows the other colors to shine. I mean, which other color does that? A red, a green? No, it's only a black that can do that. And the little black dress. How many times I have to make a decision on which dress to wear, and that little black dress helps me to get started without thinking too much. Therefore, Toastmasters and guests, I believe that black is the most beautiful color in the world. You see, what I just did was I used prep technique. I agreed to the topic. I gave a reason why. I gave the reason why I agree. Then I gave a couple of examples, and then I made the point again. Yes, black is the most beautiful color in the world. So would anybody like to try this on? I'll give a very similar topic, the prep technique. Anybody wants to go? Mindset, everybody volunteer. You have to raise your hand. Yes, Jared, I'll give it to you. So your topic, Jared, is green is the most beautiful color in the world. Green is the most beautiful color in the world. Let me expand the slide to you if it helps.
is a very beautiful color. It reminds me of my favorite color car, but it also reminds me of two other colors, which is yellow and blue. And the mix of those two create the color of green. The spectrum that we're able to see in the white light, Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, is a connection of how we experience white light. So when I think about one color, I usually think about the combination of two. So blue is a great color, green is a great color, but I like green and yellow.
Please give him a big round of applause. Thank you, Jared, for trying this topic. And you see, he made the point, he gave the reason. Maybe you could have given a few examples, Jared. Maybe the E part, if you were using the template, and then you made the point. So this is how prep technique is used. And then this second technique is the pendulum technique. Let's take the same old topic. Black is the most beautiful color in the world. Now, I don't want to agree to the topic, nor do I want to say no. I'm like, I don't think it's a yes or no answer. So I would just swing this way and that. I would say, Toastmasters and guests, black is not the most beautiful color in the world. I think it's another color in the world. It could be beautiful, but it's not the most beautiful. Come on. If we call black the most beautiful color in the world, what happens to red? What happens to green? What happens to blue? By calling one the most beautiful, aren't we removing the beauty of the other colors? Aren't they all unique and have their places in our lives? How could you live without the blue skies and not without appreciating the green beauty of your gardens? I would say black is another color in the world, just like all the other colors in the world. Take, for example, even ours. We are all unique, just like the colors. You might be a red, I might be a blue, you might be a green, or we might be shades of red. Aren't we all unique? Don't we have our unique places in the world? Therefore, I believe that black is not the most beautiful color. It's as beautiful as all the other colors in the world. So that's my pendulum technique in use. Then coming to the past, present, and future technique. Now, you can use all the three at on certain occasions, or you could use only the past and present in certain occasions. Let's say the same old topic, black is the most beautiful color in the world. I would start, when you begin, you don't know how to structure. So these templates will come in handy to structure your thoughts. So I would say, Toastmasters and friends, black. In the past, I thought that black is not the beautiful color in the world. I would always like purple. I don't know what it was. I felt all my friends picked purple and I had to pick purple. But now I realize how beautiful black color is. I can't live without a black color in my wardrobe. It's just amazing. I have black of everything that's possible. I like the black cars. I like the black eyeliner. You can just build the speech about how you started liking black and what the black hole or the color black holds in your life. That's how you talk about your past, then present, and then future, of course, will not be used in this speech. And then the other technique is the what, why, where, when, how. I call it the probing technique because in one of my club meetings, somebody, we call him the torture table topics master. He likes to give really complex topics. And he gave this topic called ego is the anesthetic that deadens the pain of stupidity. And I just heard ego, stupidity, anesthetic, and I couldn't make sense of what he was talking about. So in times like these, we can just probe the topic. I mean, think alongside what you heard. In this case, I would start by thinking about ego. What do you think ego is? Don't you think ego is that voice in our heads which tells us how important we are? And aren't we important in the world? Just probe it. And as you probe the keywords that you found in that table topic, you'll get more ideas. It's all about getting started, and then you get new ideas. You start talking more about ego. You might find a personal example from your life, and then you start exploring that. And that's what I call the probing technique, or what, why, where, when, how. And the most beautiful technique that I like and will always come in hand is Storybank technique, which is collecting stories from your life, simple, mundane things that happen in life. I like to take a note of it in my journal, simple things. Let me just give you an example. This is more like a prepared speech. You're already prepared for it, but it would seem like you're giving it extemporaneously. Sometimes have you seen in table topics, somebody is given a topic and they give a speech like it's a prepared speech. Everybody is in awe. Oh my God, how did they come up with such a speech? Most likely the speaker would have spoken the same speech as part of a conversation. Maybe they would have written an article on it. Maybe they've given a prepared speech on it. Very likely that they would have done that. So that's unconsciously, they would have relied on something called Storybank. Now, let me give you an example of how I use a prepared speech, short speech, to attempt a table topic. Let's say the topic is do not judge a book by its cover. So there's a real life incident that happened in my life, which I journaled in my book. I'm going to use that. I had a neighbor, Toastmasters. He stayed opposite my house. He was a senior citizen and he lived alone. And he was the most grumpy, bitter person I'd ever met, angry all the time. If a car parked next to his house, not even in front of his gate, he would make a fuss. If children played around his house, yell at them. I thought, how could I say a hi to him, such a difficult person? And one day there was a festival, an Indian festival called Sankranti. So I thought, let me just go and give him a tray of sweets. So I went to his door, belled it, and I said, in India, we call them all our neighbors, anybody, uncles. So this is how it goes. Uncle, happy Sankranti. I've got some sweets for you. Uncle gave back a smile. He took the sweets and he went to his pantry and he packed something back and he said, thank you so much. You need to have this. As I watched Uncle that day, he didn't seem like anything I'd ever seen him before. He gave a smile and he seemed very nice. Uncle was not angry. Uncle was not bitter. Uncle was not grumpy. Do not judge a book by its cover, because he was just lonely. You see, this is a prepared speech that I would have already prepared for, short speech that I've already prepared for, but I would use it because judgment came. I could use the same story if the topic was sweets. Maybe I would mention what sweet I gave to him. So this, somebody gives you a topic on, for example, maybe a cake for you. I presented a cake to Uncle and this happened. They would be like, oh my God, for a cake, how did she bring such a story? So this is a story for cake. It could be a story for power of festivals. It could be if you could talk about the same thing when we speak about something about loneliness, about aging, about a variety of topics. So I would say hashtag it, hashtag all these stories. So the same story can be used multiple times on multiple occasions for multiple topics. And just imagine if you write down these stories, or if you practice these 1 minute prepared speeches every single day, one prepared short speech every day, by the end of the year, you would have 365 stories. And let's say it can be used 5 different ways. How many stories do you have in hand? I mean, you can face 1,825 different table topics with one speech that you prepare every day. So that's the power of story banks, and I highly, highly recommend it to you. All you got to do is just get started with the table topics, feed the topic, the mind will just pop out the story that you have already prepared at the right time. You just got to trust your mind for that. And then I cannot emphasize enough about practice. It's very important, even for an extempore speech or table topic speech. It's very important to practice, to keep facing that fear, to keep facing that voice which comes in between us and our performance. Once we keep doing that, once we keep practice giving a prepared speech for 1 to 2 minutes and evaluating ourselves how it went, I think we go a very long way at how good we get at table topics. So these are some of the techniques that I have hit upon, and there are some more, but because I cannot present all of the secrets, maybe some other time when you contact me, I will present you all of them. Like, there are ways to open a speech, there are ways to close a speech. I would just touch upon opening. Always try to startle the audience in the opening, because it's very important that you have their attention in the beginning. If you don't have their attention in the beginning, how would they understand your body, right? How would they understand how you're concluding? So just try to startle them in the opening. Maybe with a question, maybe with some statistic if it comes to your mind, maybe with a beautiful quote, or maybe with your voice, your vocal variety. Just startle them, grab their attention, and pull them into your speech. That's maybe how you can open. So let's summarize what we just covered today, shall we? The first thing that we discussed was the mindset. Everybody recollect it? So take some time, feed the question and the topic to your mind, allow it to soak in, have a glass of water in handy, keep facing that fear, ignore that voice. Templates of thinking, the first one that we discussed was prep, point, reason, example, point. The second one is the pendulum technique. You don't say a yes, nor do you say a no. And then the third one is past, present, future. Then the probing technique, what, why, where, when, how. And then the most beautiful one, the Storybank. The last but not the least, practice. I hope this was of some value to you, and you gotten something new to implement in your next table topic speech. With that, I'd like to hand over the stage to Toastmaster Donna.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am not surprised, and yet I am surprised. I expected greatness from that speech, and we got it. Thank you very much. I think the thing that stuck in my mind was bravery. And at the beginning of a speech, to ask open questions and not know what the response will be or how quickly they'll respond, if they'll respond, that is true trust. Truly, you are not afraid. You are ready to roll with the punches no matter what. Thank you.